Hello everyone. Suppose you went on a hiking trip and you crossed this particular trail, and just as you approached the intersection of a major trail, you came across this signpost. How would you feel? Would you be confident? Would you be worried? Would you be anxious? Would you think that this is a trap? You're probably going to experience a range of emotions, because this directional signpost leads to nowhere. If it leads to anywhere at all, you would think hard before embarking on one path or the other. So this takes me to our activity in this class, and this is the argumentative thesis and topic refinement activity. This activity assumes that you've completed your first draft for your research essay, and you're still working on developing your research essay. It also assumes that you have written a preliminary thesis statement. So when you are working on a research paper, there are common problems with academic research papers. The first problem, or the major problem I think we have to deal with, is the thesis statement. So if you do not outline a thesis statement, if you do not state a thesis statement, I would say this: your paper is going to struggle. It's like a directional signpost that leads to nowhere, because nobody knows where to go. Nobody knows where you will. If let's say they're looking for you because you're lost, because you follow this sign, they're just going to assume that you went in either direction. So if you lead your audience in one direction, in another direction, or in several directions, you confuse them. So you've got to let your audience, your reader, know where you're leading them. So a thesis statement is that useful because it's like a signpost that it's with inscription. It tells your reader where you're going. And I want to quote from Deborah Holstein and Daniel Aqualine. In their book, Who Says? The Writer's Research, they make the following observation. A thesis statement is something of a signpost. It condenses your essay's argument or intention into one or two sentences that usually, although not always, will appear within the first final paragraphs of your essay. The thesis will help you organize your ideas. If done correctly, it will help provide your reader with a signpost that explains what the essay will be about, what information you're trying to relay, and what arguments you will be making. In most instances, a strong thesis statement is an expected and highly significant component of a successful research paper. The absence of a thesis statement, or a poorly crafted one, can signify a lack of focus on the part of the writer. Essentially what they're basically saying, that if you have a thesis statement, it's like a directional signpost that tells your reader where you're heading to, what you're trying to do. Now, for this activity, I expect that you will work on also not just refining your thesis statement, but you would take care of your topic as well. What's the point if you have a thesis statement, but then we don't even know what topic you're discussing? Although, if you carefully craft your thesis statement, it should be easy for the reader to tell what your topic is. But you want to give your reader a clue before they even read your thesis statement. What exactly is your topic? What exactly is your focus? So for this activity, here's what I need you to do. You are going to describe the topic of your paper as clearly as you can in a sentence. If you want to do it in two, go for it. Then you will state the title of your research essay paper as clearly as you can. A topic and title, two separate things. Okay? Then after doing that, I want you to post your current thesis statement, the one you wrote in your first draft of your research essay. Now, if you didn't do that, then I would expect that you should have a tentative thesis statement, maybe the one you have in your research proposal. If you didn't complete that, then of course you have to produce one. So after coming up with your thesis statement, I want you to then provide information on what we will call your antithesis. So first you have the thesis. Look at the example right here. where you have the United States should go to Mars in 2025 because it will further research in space and planetary studies. That's a thesis statement. Now, we're going to formulate an antithesis statement. And what does that look like? Well, an antithesis statement is pretty much the opposite of a thesis statement. So the United States should not go to Mars in 2025 because it's an expensive mission to undertake. So that's sort of an antithesis contradicts the thesis position. Now, you are going to write a refined thesis statement, given the fact that you've stated your thesis statement and an antithesis. I expect you to put some thought into this, reflection into this, and consideration into this as you write this refined thesis statement. I assume that you've received my comments, and I've also created the same of your thesis statement. So you want to make your thesis statement as strong as it possibly can be. It's possible you still change it, but this activity is a challenge for you to make it as strong as it possibly can be. So looking at this example here, we have a refined thesis statement. Although British Petroleum has committed funds and other resources to the development of affected resorts in the Gulf region, the efficacy of these efforts remains under dispute. The rebuilding of Gulf Coast tourism is the result not only of the passage of time, but also of strategic efforts and partnership among industry, small business owners, and marketers. So that's the example of a refined thesis statement. You can follow this pattern, but you shouldn't be confined to it. I just wanted to just demonstrate to you one way you can write a refined thesis statement. And it's usually something more sophisticated and advanced than your, let's say, your tentative thesis, which is very basic and simple like we have here. Now, once you completed this activity, you will submit in the appropriate folder on D2L, and it needs to be submitted at the end of the day. I hope this helps in clarifying your activity. Take care and have a wonderful day.